Hi and good afternoon. My name is Allison Vogel. I'm the Associate Director for Online Education at Lehman College. This presentation this afternoon is entitled Strategies and Rationales for Implementing Cooperative Instructional Techniques for a Hybrid Classroom. And what I've done today is sort of uploaded a cadre of documents, a collection of about a dozen, all pertaining to the topic that I'm speaking to you about today. You'll also see an uploaded video in MP4 version. So if you have any trouble reading the video or being able to download it, please contact me at the email address that you see on the screen. Inside the library, you've been prompted to load the content through the file transfer protocol. So do take advantage of those documents. I'm going to run down the list of documents that you'll be seeing in there. And the one that I want to call your attention to is the, and I need to find it myself, entitled Cooperative Strategies HETS presentation. That is the accompanying PDF that goes along with this video. So you might want to take a look at that one first. As for the remaining documents, you'll see some materials on group structures, collaborative discussions. We have some material on collaborative team meetings, and that would include worksheets and the types of dynamics that you can expect in group work. I mean, this you can conduct an entire workshop just in group collaborative exercises with the documents that I provided today. We have something called Group Work Success of All, which is actually the kind of presentation that you would make to a group and to students for the first time, and explaining to them what it's like to engage in a group project for the first time. So you might want to take a look at that. I have a short document called Learner-Centered Teaching from a really excellent presenter herself, Mary Ellen Weimer. That's not my materials. Most of these materials are mine or have been worked through other documents, and everything is clearly outlined for you. So I do want to say there's two more at the end. One is a technology tool rubric, and that's basically a research and evaluation document that we use at CUNY to determine the types of tools that we're going to be using for a lot of our programs. So you might want to take a look at that. And finally, we have an instructional technology list of tools, which is in Excel format. So you can add to it yourself, and you can make it grow as well. So with that, I want to just call your attention to the presentation itself. I hope that you've been able to find it. And if not, what I decided to do is just try and call up the application and play it here. So
this presentation offers strategies and rationales for implementing cooperative instructional techniques for a hybrid model classroom that can move a class from followers to collaborators. It's entitled Strategies for Implementing Cooperative Instructional Techniques in a Hybrid Model Classroom. Because we are in an increasingly competitive global economy, the jobs and industries of today and the future require skills that have been long overlooked or seldom measured in classrooms. Faculty are known to be comfortable measuring and testing content knowledge like multiple choice tests, short answer questions, or academic papers. But while this approach is seen as adequate to assess factual knowledge and basic skills, these measures often overlook critical and creative thinking and problem solving, those higher order skills most prized by business and industry. Because offering every student an education that connects them to the opportunities and jobs of tomorrow is a critical mission, many educators are beginning to see hybrid learning as a way to employ the same strategies and tools that businesses use to collaborate and transfer information across cultures, borders, and time zones. Those educators who choose to adopt this style of delivery are connecting the real world to the classroom when they and their students are asked to use the same methods of constructing and contributing to knowledge. So what is hybrid? Lehman College is one of 24 institutions that make up the City University of New York, the largest urban university in the United States. CUNY defines a hybrid blended course as between 33 and 66% of the classroom meetings, in which delivery can be split between online and face-to-face. A hybrid course, by its design, reduces face-to-face classroom seat time so that online technologies can be used for instruction and communication outside the classroom. Instructors create assignments that make use of online activities to replace some of the classroom work and facilitate students' understanding by dividing the online portion into learning modules. Often they convert the lecture into multiple mini-lessons of short duration that would have been made in person. This act of dividing the learning between modalities results in a hybrid course. To this end, Lehman College and CUNY have goals to enhance strategies for online teaching and learning and conserve and improve classroom utilization space and scalability. Hybrid is seen as a way to meet the diverse and growing needs of an ever-changing population by recognizing the undeniable benefits of this style of online learning to the university and its students. CUNY has instituted grant funds to support faculty through the conversion process from on-site to hybrid courses at Lehman College and other colleges within its 24-campus university system. The object is to see to it that there are significant and educationally sound e-learning opportunities that apply career-ready assessments that are equal to, if not more rigorous than, traditional on-site courses that incorporate traditional lecture and testing methods. Now, our success and our students' well-being increasingly depend on making sure that they're not just book smart or skilled, because prospective employers are always looking for their expressions of creativity. They seek employees with strong language and people skills and technological prowess, who are interested in whether they can recognize patterns and trends and look for those who will work well in teams with others of differing backgrounds. The White House Initiative on Educational Excellence reported that in 2011, just 13% of Latinos had a bachelor's degree, and only 4% have completed graduate or professional degree programs. As of 2011, Lehman College's Hispanic enrollment nears 50% of its undergraduate population, and 47% of its transfer students are Hispanic. So Lehman has a great opportunity to serve a population that's been traditionally underrepresented in higher education. In many respects, Lehman College students are also the so-called non-traditional learners. They skew older, they're juggling jobs and faculty and family, often at the expense of their schooling. Our students use their off hours to study part-time while they work full or part-time. It becomes our obligation to ensure that we help to meet the needs of a population with such competing constraints. Online and hybrid learning presents a compelling prospect for these working young adults who are seeking to complete their bachelor's degree, earn a professional certificate, or obtain a graduate or professional degree. The goal is that these online and hybrid classes at Lehman College will not only be more useful for the convenience of our students, therefore having the effect of encouraging new students and increasing retention of existing students, but that our faculty technology workshops will also promote development and implementation of effective assessments that apply and measure the skills most needed by business and industry. So the redesign looks like this. A hybrid class isn't just written material that's moved online, and it's not just homework. To be successful, a hybrid course requires careful course redesign, stemming from pedagogical strategies involving a thoughtful revamp of an existing syllabus, assessing objectives, learning goals, and encouraging goal setting by constructing a rigorous online environment. The SUNY Learning Network found in its study of asynchronous learning networks that demographics, age, and gender aren't the best predictors of student engagement, but pedagogical engagements are more important. Interaction with the teacher is usually the most significant contributor to perceived learning, so online teacher presence is vitally important in this equation. Often the redesign process involves the identification of authentic problems within the discipline that require inquiry and investigation. The problems are identified by the instructor, and through careful planning and intentional work with the instructional technologist, the proper tools can be chosen to fit the learning problem. In this way, the tool is secondary to the goal, but it facilitates the goal at the same time. The next step involves community building, the act of creating a learning environment that fosters interaction, dialogue, and mentoring. This is a more challenging role, but the various roles of participants in this community are defined, and the projects are designed to suit the nature of different learners and different learning styles. A mix of independent study, research, independent and collaborative, and activities can be accomplished during the online portion. Self-motivation is a skill to be developed. It isn't always present in the student. So key to the mix of learning activities is keeping the student engaged and responsible for his or her own learning through goal setting, which I've covered in greater depth in the section on collaboration. I've also provided materials alongside this presentation to foster group work. Next, we look at the technology solutions, the way technology can work or doesn't work in the process. And this is the way technology solutions are assessed. We look for how easy they are to use, its potential for social interaction and collaboration, and for its structural value, because too often the process of learning the technology can be frustrating and time-consuming. The trick is in building the process of learning with the tools, so the tool becomes the facilitator for the learning and not just technology for its own sake. Authors Mishra, Kohler, and Zhao write in their book Faculty Development by Design, course redevelopment is often messy and complex. It isn't linear movement towards a specific goal, while we have those expectations, but rather it zigzags, it's iterative. Goals and plans are in a constant state of negotiation. So here's the opportunity for the dialogue between the instructor and the technologist to have the most promise. The instructor opens up to the newness of the experience and begins to trust that the forethought and collaboration between the designers will help keep the constraints and limitations to a minimum. Whatever the case may be, there's a fairly constant interplay between content, pedagogy, and technology. We see teaching not as a problem or a failure, but we see in our teaching a set of problems worth pursuing. Those best practices with technology that seem to make you work collaboratively as an ongoing intellectual focus. So who's active in the equation? The work spent ahead of time allows faculty to shift away from their traditional role as active faculty. We try to develop active students instead. We encourage them to see knowledge not as a transfer process, but as a creative progression where students are the creators of the knowledge. We shift the responsibility for learning from individuals to the cooperative. And our faculty members are course developers and creators of learning environments. So the tell, read, test approach becomes a problem-based active learning approach. Convenient and flexible course schedules are particularly important for our students, who are often working, need remedial classes, who can take classes only part-time. But the shift from conventional classroom education to distance learning and even hybrid blended learning poses challenges to community building. These instructors and learners particularly have been taught in the traditional modality, so when students with their own individual needs are expected to meet with other learners at asynchronous times, teamwork in this virtual setting can appear artificial or imposition. Many professors are challenged by online teaching. They often wonder, how will they be able to take the pulse of the room to see whether their students are following the material, are bored, confused, or even figure out whether the students are present? With Web 2.0 tools like wikis, young people already have an affinity to collaborative media because many people, young and old, are already part of this process. So more and more students are recognizing that the sum of their collective contribution is greater than what one student may have done independently. So this helps. The following, though, are 3 exemplary practices that illustrate techniques that can take your hybrid class from the teacher as lecturer model, talking at, to one where the students are contributors to their own learning, teacher, moderator, and student as active participant. The flipped classroom, when developing hybrid classes, illustrates that it's important to pay close attention to the ways in which online work connects with and supports the face-to-face interactions and vice versa. Those who take part in flipping their class by recording mini lectures and placing them alongside activities that can be completed online and brought back to the classroom see the technique as a way to promote active classrooms through active study practices. The flipped class approach to hybrid education reverses the student and faculty roles of the traditional learning environment by moving homework into the classroom and allowing students to watch lectures and relevant pre-recorded content and annotate their notes at home. Teachers are happy to free up what they now see as even more precious classroom time by recording videos of their lectures. The process of assigning these lectures and available online resources for homework and having students produce evidence of the learning by bringing the products to class leaves class time to review difficult problem sets, discuss real-world application of concepts, and offer targeted assistance to students. The Chronicle of Higher Ed quotes Professor Andrew Martin, who teaches an evolutionary biology class at the University of Colorado at Boulder. He says how his students are effectively educating one another. Of the din that overtakes his room, it means they're in control and not me. While this kind of student-centered structure isn't new, the comments also bring in some interesting points about context and learning styles on both sides. So do visit the Chronicle and the link that's provided in the PDF document. The following are resources devoted to the concept of flipped classrooms as it's currently in use in higher education, and this includes a link to the CUNY Academic Commons. Building on the strengths of the flipped classroom, backwards instruction also takes into account the audience, that is, from the viewpoint of the student's experience. It organizes the subject matter around the use of intriguing questions, with a special significance given to high-level intellectual questions and activities that keep students stimulated. In their book, Understanding by Design, McWiggins and McTeague call the process of designing courses around learning goals the backward design process. For more on backward design, see the PDF that accompanies this presentation. Technology tools, clickers in the classroom. With intentional planning, it's possible to begin building community in a large hybrid classroom on the first day. There are sharing exercises available in the following slides and at the end of this presentation that encourage students to interact with one another. We call it positive interdependence. Students call it the tone for active learning. When you include large group discussions in your lecture during the first day of class, you set the precedence for future discussions and interactions. Faculty can facilitate productive discussions by using clickers. Positive reinforcement, establishing a collegial environment, and reading the material prior to coming to class are some of the benefits seen in clickers. These YouTube videos will touch on the ways in which the simple, easy-to-learn tool can help overcome the physical challenges of managing large class discussions. Since we know that today's learners are more engaged with the computer instead of other learners, it's easy to imagine, however misguided the assumption, that there's a lack of natural social outlet. This sense can lead to feelings of isolation in an online class. Because isolation is a major contributor to attrition, one potential strategy for reducing dropout rates is for hybrid and online instructors to encourage students to support one another and feel part of a community. The task is to structure the course design so learners have a mechanism to connect with each other and form community. Using students as their own resource, encouraging them to form an online tip, providing community building exercises to facilitate group work, and to manage their own group discussion forums, scaffolding for students how to expand a discussion. These are all ways to develop students' team building skills. A team has a small number of people with complementary skills who are committed to a common purpose, performance goals, and a common approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. Please refer to the PDF document that accompanies this presentation for more on combating low motivation in underperforming populations. James Richardson, assistant professor at LaGuardia Community College in the Bronx and the program coordinator for the new media technology program, writes that an important aspect for designing a plan to combat low motivation in underperforming African American and Hispanic students is to create a curriculum developed within the confines of a supportive and nurturing environment. The nurturing classroom environment is needed to offset the lack of self-esteem and confidence that's usually inherent within those who trend towards amotivational behavior. In short, these students need to regain confidence in their ability to succeed if they are to shift towards extrinsic motivation from their current behaviors. Jillian Abbott of Queensborough Community College writes that creating engaging interactive online learning modules may be the first step to improving classroom success and possibly student learning outcomes. The document that accompanies this presentation includes group work and cooperative grouping exercises and methods for alternative assessments using peer assessment. In conclusion, the tasks and assessments commonly used by faculty may not be assessing what they think that they are assessing. They may actually be assessing lower level competencies and therefore do not assess actual outcomes. The activities and literacies listed in the following two slides provide assessments equal to or greater than drill and testing, grade-dependent assessments, and when they're used in the context of learning goals, can measure student performance with greater vigor. Multiple choice tests, short answer questions, and academic papers are anxiety-inducing and usually do not serve our urban, mostly Hispanic population well. However, open-ended online discussions, authoring and collaboration tools like blogs and wikis that are socially constructed can serve important formative and diagnostic functions. Through them, learners can create knowledge and present their understandings on the basis of what they feel they already know and believe. Learning in a hybrid setting can also mitigate feelings of isolation, so often spoken about with respect to fully online learning, because students are part of a community that they engage with in both face-to-face and online settings. More of the real-world experience. Most important for this population, information gathered from these blended format exercises formatively establish a baseline for students' prior learning. So preconceptions can be challenged through in-person and online open-ended discussions. For the in-person days, faculty can use tools like clickers to measure the effect of home-based assignments, and these responses illuminate student understanding and misunderstandings and help faculty to determine how much and what material their students are retaining. These open-ended platforms, multimedia software, and tools provide information on student achievement, and changing conceptions provide key information to the instructor about what specific activities and methods worked. This kind of feedback loop allows teaching and learning activities to align to the goals of the course with the specific needs of the learners and offers us a window into learning. Throughout this presentation, I hope you've discovered innovative strategies, models, and resources that can help you plan for and design an effective hybrid course or program that incorporate instructional technologies with learning goals to suit today's demands for skills that are progressive and measurable. Whether you're a professor beginning on your path to online teaching, an instructional designer adding to your toolbox, or an administrator planning a program, new literacies, as described in this presentation, can optimize the retention of Hispanic students in online courses. Collaborative learning environments can utilize strategic methodologies to foster creative thinking, the skills recognized as most useful to business and industry today. Finally, I leave you with information on communities as learners. While it's said that young people have an affinity to participatory media, many people, young and old, are already part of this process. Here are some of the ways that they use And here are some of the pedagogical goals of our online teaching and learning program. Thank you for participating, and I hope you look for the materials that are accompanying this presentation.
We understand the factors that promote college success, the impact of approaches that truly facilitate success and quality, the secret to a solid teaching process for the Hispanic learner, and the key role of technology to make this happen. Hence, an opportunity to propose, find, and integrate innovative technology solutions to education. We go beyond higher education. We strive for a higher vision. Visit us at www.hets.org. HETS Consortium.